Dr. Anthony Fauci exclusive LGBTQ interview with Queer News Tonight. World AIDS Day is a chance for the LGBTQ+ community to stop and reflect on where we are, likely the most important queer news story in history. In the summer of 1981, a strange new virus was first detected. By 1988, the first World AIDS Day was met with the growing issues facing the LGBTQ+ community, especially gay men. Though today, more than 750,000 Americans have died of AIDS, and more than 25 million worldwide. In that first summer, there was only one voice, really, above all others that understood the crisis of the LGBTQ+ community to come, Dr. Anthony Fauci. He read the internal CDC report the first time of the strange connection of 5 deaths in Los Angeles with one certain connection. They were all gay men. The next month, the CDC internal alarm was set off by Fauci with the same connection in New York, but this time it was 25 deaths. Since, Dr. Fauci has been at the forefront of the epidemic of HIV and AIDS. He has led infectious disease health in the U.S. government for more than 40 years. Six presidents. Al sat down with Dr. Fauci in an exclusive interview, and the only LGBTQ+ television interview he did in connection with AIDS Day and his retirement this month from public service. Let's watch some of the highlights of this historic 30-minute interview for the LGBTQ+ community and Queer News Tonight. Fauci discussed World AIDS Day and how important the LGBTQ+ community, with representatives like the late the fact that the entire healthcare community did better to address AIDS early in the epidemic.
I've developed a very special relationship over the years with the LGBT community, dating back from what was a confrontational relationship back in the days of Larry Kramer and ACT UP, which one of the most important things that I've ever done in my career was to listen to the community, because what they were saying about the fact that the biomedical research community did not adequately include them in the design of clinical trials that involved the LGBTQ community. The regulatory approach was too rigid for a disease of the nature of HIV/AIDS. And I listened to them when they were being very confrontative, appropriately iconoclastic, appropriately disruptive. Because I said to myself, if I were in their shoes, what would I be doing? And I'd be doing exactly what they were doing. So I developed a great deal of respect. And with that respect came a degree of cooperation, collaboration, which now turned into friendship. And some of the best friends, and respect. But some of the best friends that I have now are people who are among the original confrontative LGBT community that was the old ACT UP people. Larry Kramer became my very close friend. People like Peter Staley and Greg Gonzalez and David Barr and Mark Harrington and others have all over the years evolved into respected colleagues and friends. So it's really been a very gratifying decades of experience with the LGBT community.
So powerful to hear him talk about all these activists and what they meant to him. To think about the word that he uses referring to the LGBTQ+ community is cohort, such a scientific embracement to the very last. His reference to the unprecedented success of the LGBTQ+ community as a cohort was completely clear in his final words of love and respect for the community. Today, as the world and the LGBTQ+ community remembers those lost, those that are living with HIV, and most important of all, the fact that a cure is now on the horizon, we salute the world's most important voice for the LGBTQ+ community on AIDS and HIV, our friend, our hero, Dr. Anthony Fauci.
And part of that tribute, Dr. Fauci respects our LGBTQ community right back, and I believe production is going to show you some of those comments of what he said.
Yeah, I mean, it's an extraordinary community in how you pull together and caring about each other in a way that I think is unprecedented of any cohort of people. and you have come through. We could not have gotten done what we've gotten done with HIV/AIDS had it not been for the spirit, the camaraderie, and the beauty, actually, of the LGBT community. And I've certainly had the privilege of experiencing that for the last 41 and a half years now, associated with my involvement with HIV/AIDS. And I just would in many respects congratulate you all for what you've done, and keep up. You're a model for many of other people throughout the country who are not in your community.
Wow, it's powerful. That's such a great interview. What was that like, Al?
It was exciting. I knew the history of what I was, I knew I was in this historic moment. Today is World AIDS Day. He held on specifically because of today. He finished the Trump world, and Biden asked to stay and for his work there. But this was the deadline for him that he did in the sand and stayed. He's getting ready to retire now after World AIDS Day. The other thing that was really important in the moment is his respect to do this. This interview was 5 months in the works. Wow. 5 months. And the issue of doing anything but major media was a real difficult opportunity. It is the only television LGBT interview that he has done before his retirement. The NIH, you go through the White House, and they did very strict protocols. It's going to be 10 minutes, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And as we went, of course, we tried to push and push and push. And Fauci, in his respect for LGBTQ community, and so many, this and so many others, went farther and farther, and they were bringing to his attention, he was way over time, and he ended up doing 30 minutes. And it was a respect for LGBT, his outgoing of a retirement to say, wait, which that incredible quote and statement that LGBT is the most spectacular cohort in his medical history. It was just really.
If we would only stick together in more aspects of our community, right?
I think it talks to what Paul had said about the importance of community.
Yes.
Did you notice at the end, he also asked us to show others, be a model, and continue to help others.
Yeah.
And I know that there have been times in Miami-Dade County where, like, immigration called one day, and they had a whole bunch of LGBTQ people sitting around the table. They were like, we need to get this done, and we can't get it done. And you guys seem to be able to.
You're able to do it.
Yeah, they're like, what should we do? What should we say?
They should embrace the entertainment model that we've done.
We'll party on a rooftop, and that's how you go.
One of the things I have to tell you, we're going to show this complete contextual interview of the 30 minutes. But one of the things that's really incredible to come, which we haven't whispered even one word, my final question to him was, what now, after 50 years at my age, what keeps you up at night? And his answer is breathtaking. There is something that keeps him up at night, and he worries about, and he continues to worry about.
Oh, I can't wait.
And it's one of the things that he is going to focus on very specifically in his retirement of his work.
Wow. I'm embarrassed that I didn't know who he was until pandemic. I'm really embarrassed to say that. And once I started researching, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is like 40 years of stuff. Holy crap. Incredible.
For HIV/AIDS, this is George Washington.
Yeah.
That's how important he is.
Just, you know, maybe to help himself work in healthcare, it wasn't fighting the virus was one thing, which was incredible, right? Tons of people all over the world could figure out how to fight the virus, but it was also fighting government systems. It was also like, you know, he was literally fighting against the president and Congress because they weren't going to give us funding. And he was like, no, this is important. We needed someone like him. We needed him to kind of stand out there in front, take all the hits until he got the federal funding that we needed to yell and scream and for them to call. I mean, they tried to destroy him many times.
Wow. No wonder he was like, whatever over Trump. Whatever.
Well, yeah,
Whatever. You don't know what I've been through.
And by the way, in the interview, we talk about Trump and we talk about DeSantis. And that response. But to Paul's point, which I think is a bullseye, we will never, ever be able to quantify what I'm getting ready to say. His commitment to do exactly what Paul said was the creation architect of PEPFAR. And PEPFAR literally was the model that was adopted of what the U.S. was going to do for worldwide AIDS, not just in America, but worldwide. And everyone on this planet in this field says that program, in essence, has saved more than 20 million lives.
Wow.
Dr. Anthony Fauci is the architect of that because he fought for that money and the development of that program.
And people like Larry Kramer helped him, right? And he said, well, what would I do? Yeah, I'd be laying on the ground in front of the, you know what I mean, until I got what I needed. But he didn't have to his character, right? Other people, they can easily put their heads in this. Yeah. People are dying, you know. He didn't do that.
We echo Julio's comments. Thank you, Dr. Fauci.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out television network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.